she can. She can, she can, she can. Yeah, she can.
Mrs. Cecilia Bolaji Dada, the Honourable Commissioner for Women Affairs, Lagos State, is a self-motivated and compassionate individual with a creative, flexible mind and willingness to learn and explore new things. She has immeasurable experience in public administration and history of delivering on her mandates. In consistence with her family's established tradition of the pursuit of excellence in education, buoyed by a resolve to carve a niche for herself in corporate governance, she further obtained the Master of Science MSc degree from the Leeds Metropolitan University, Leeds, UK in 2009. Cecilia Bolaji Dada has worked extensively in public service with over 19 years' experience at both local and state government levels as an executive. A former member of the governing board of the Lagos State Sports Commission, Mrs. Dada also served as the executive secretary at Papa Local Government and received an award as the best vice chairman in 2010 during her tenure as the local government vice chairman. Other awards to her name include Best Supervisor for the Environment in Lagos State 2010 and contributions towards sports development in Lagos State. Resourceful, articulate and innovative, she was recently ordained as an assistant pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God. She is a corporate governance expert, strategic thinker, grassroots politician, and a versatile technocrat who is expected to bring her wealth of experience in political management, strategic communications, and public relations to bear in the present administration. She is happily married with children. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome the Honourable Commissioner for Women Affairs, Lagos State, Mrs. Cecilia Bolaji Dada.
Thank you very much. The board members of SheCan Nigeria, especially Izani, the speakers here present, all our sponsors, beautiful participants. There's one thing about women. Wherever you see a gathering of women, you see all sorts of colors, and it's always so beautiful. Can you put your hands together for yourself? I would also like to acknowledge our participants online, since it's hybrid, the gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Paving the way for more women in the political, business, and civic arena is an investment in more just, equitable, and peaceful societies. And it's quite obvious indeed that the exclusion of women in politics has been identified in recent times as one of the major setbacks for economic development. Women are the strong pillars of grassroots politics, and a drive for more women participating in politics at the grassroots still faces a lot of challenges, making it difficult for them to harness available opportunities for economic development. Thus, the opportunity therein for more women participation in politics and women empowerment is yet to be exploited by women in Nigeria. It is indeed a pleasure to be part of this laudable initiative organized by SheCan Nigeria Limited with the theme, SheCanDoMore. I really want to commend the organizers of this initiative, SheCan Nigeria, for a well-packaged program. Like I said this morning when I got here, I've been involved in several programs, women programs, empowerment programs, all sorts of programs, since I became the Commissioner for Women Affairs. But I've never been this excited about any program. I don't know why, but every time I think about this program, I just feel like dancing. Maybe there was a part that we danced. I wonder why they didn't show that during when they were showing my profile, you know. It's always so exciting when I think about this program. And I'm tagged with, I have the responsibility this morning to speak on She Can Do More in Politics. The poor representation of women in elective positions has been a major social development issue since the beginning of the current democratization process in Nigeria. Politics as a real-world phenomenon is gendered, even though our convener doesn't want us to talk about gender here. The world over, core conditions of people's lives, including their health, education, security, as well as access to markets, public space, freedom of expression, and their work are fundamentally shaped by their identification as being of a particular sex or gender group, according to Willing et al., 2013. I would like to charge us this morning by telling you that you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. How did I start my political journey? I joined politics in the year 1998. At that time, I realized that so many of us just sit back in our homes and complain about Nigeria. Things are not working the way we want it to work, but we all just sit back at home, grumble, complain, and say all sorts of negative things about Nigeria. So I said to myself on a certain day that I needed to get involved, especially when I realized that in my local government, most of the people in politics were our domestic staff. Can you imagine that? The people that we put in our domestic quarters were the ones making policies for us in that local government. I'm not going to mention the local government, don't worry. So I told myself I must get involved. And that was why I got into politics. I was very ambitious. So as I got in, I contested to be the member of the House of Reps. You can imagine that is a tall ambition indeed. In 1999, I contested to be a member of the Federal House of Representatives. And I was asked to step down for a certain person because the family needed to be compensated because they felt the father sacrificed himself for democracy in Nigeria. I didn't give up at that time because I was focused. I knew what I wanted. And then I was considered an appointment to be a member of the governing board of Lagos State Sports Council in the year 2000. At that time, I was the only female member on the board. Initially, they thought they could dominate me, but I refused to be dominated. As a matter of fact, I dominated them. Then in 2003, I also contested again for the same House of Representatives. And again, I was told, let that lady go the second time. After her, then you can contest again. Okay. I didn't go back home to sulk. I was resilient. I continued to fight. I was the only woman standing, unfortunately, because I was surrounded by men. Everywhere I turned, they were all men. And then I was appointed as the secretary to our Papa local government in 2003. In 2006, after my tenure as the secretary to local government, I realized that during the Fashola administration, all the not all, but most of the commissioners that were appointed were master's degree holders. I only had BSc. At that time, I told myself I needed to improve on myself. I didn't want local master's degree. So I applied to the Leeds Metropolitan University. For my yearn to get to a position where I can effect the change I wanted, I applied for corporate governance. By the time I got to the university, I realized that corporate governance had nothing to do with politics, except for the boardroom politics in it. But it's okay. I still had my master's degree in corporate governance. And at that time, in 2006, I was ordained a deaconess in the Redeemed Christian Church of God. I'm sure some of you will be wondering, why is she telling us that now? Don't worry, we'll get to that later. While I was in Leeds, because I still want to be involved in politics, I still wanted to be relevant in Nigeria. I was hopping up and down, 2 weeks in London, in Leeds, 2 weeks in Nigeria, 2 weeks in Leeds, 2 weeks in Nigeria. That was what I did throughout my stay in Leeds. And then later, I contested for the chairman at Papa local government. I was the only female member amongst 16 aspirants. And at some point, I was told, you are the only female. Why don't you just step down and be vice chairman and let the other 15 men go to the battleground? Well, I must confess at that time, I thought it was an easy escape route for me. So I stepped down and I became the vice chairman. But unfortunately for me, I became the vice chairman to my junior cousin. My junior cousin, who had lived with us for 7 years, he became my chairman. And at that time, I realized that whatever life throws at you, please make the best use of it. I became very humble. I felt rejected. I had to watch my tongue and watch my back, because everything I said was used against me. Every step I took was misunderstood. Everyone that came close to me got into trouble because I was the vice chairman. The chairman was threatened. Unfortunately for me, I was vice chairman for 2 terms. And then by the second term, I contested again for the same member House of Reps. For the 3rd time, I was rejected. I did not give up. Later, I contested again to be the chairman of a Papa local government. What happened? I was rejected. Then I decided to take it easy, re-strategize, think of something else to do, allow the men to do what they want to do while I was re-strategizing. I decided to establish my own business. I was into digital dance floors. I remember when I started that business, people thought it was a normal LED dance floors, but mine was different. I was the only one that had that kind of dance floor in the whole of Lagos. I don't know about other parts of the country. But because I wasn't a business person, I was struggling with the business. But I didn't walk out of politics. I was strategizing. And then at some point, I heard that a certain person was going to be governor of Lagos State. And I thought that was a good way for me to relaunch myself back into politics. I did all that I could to make sure that I worked for the campaign. I did all that I could to be recognized during the campaign. I wasn't part of the people that would flow with the crowd. I was ready to do my own thing. At every point, I was thinking, outside the box. At every point, I was creating my own table. I learned something recently, that when you are not invited to a table, don't be disturbed. Create your own table and be the head of your table. Indeed, strength does not come from winning. Your struggles develop your strength. When you go through hardship and decide not to surrender, that is strength. The journey wasn't easy for me. But during my course as a politician, I was given an award by Afe Babalola University as the most caring parent. And the award was presented to me by General Yakubu Gowon. I'm sure you also wonder, why is she telling us that now? I had one political appointment or the other from 1999 to 2017. I took 2 years off, and then 2019, I became the Honourable Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation till date. What are the lessons to be learned here? Everyone has a fair turn to be as great as he pleases. Only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly. At every stage of my life, I lost elections, but I made sure I didn't give up. I always ended up being compensated with one position or the other because I was resilient, I was determined, and I was focused. I also improved myself and my educational skills and potentials. When I was out of office, I tried to think outside the box. And I was able to balance politics, family, and religion. 2 weeks before I became the Commissioner for Women Affairs, I was ordained an assistant pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God. Plans to achieve more. I know I have only 25 minutes, but I've spent only 5 minutes. The ratio of female participation and representation in Nigerian politics is still low considerably. The mega size is characterized by the male chauvinism and patronage-based political culture, combined with gender, economic, and household inequalities, which set barriers of women participation in governance. As the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, the ministry has embarked on many programs and activities which are targeted at addressing diverse issues, social vices, and empowerment strategies. Some of these interventions are our 4-week short-term skills acquisition training for different categories of women in Lagos State as a quarterly-based initiative. I was very happy when I was watching what SheCan Nigeria has done in the area of skills acquisition and empowerment. We don't just train people, we also give them empowerment packs for them to be able to start such businesses. And we've been able to engage and empower about 8,000 people in our 4-week short-term skills in the last 2 years. Also, we have our long-term tuition-free skills acquisition training centers. We have about 19 centers spread across the 5 divisions of Lagos, where over 20 skills are taught, and over 10,000 students have graduated in 2 years. We also celebrate women during our International Women's Day because we realize that women, we do not celebrate ourselves. We run down ourselves, we talk down at ourselves, we try to pull ourselves down. There's always this pull-down syndromes amongst women. So for us as a ministry, we try to celebrate women during the International Women's Day. Also, we celebrate our widows. Our widows, we give them livelihood support. And also we have empowerment for the widows as well. There's something we call Menstrual Hygiene Day. It's a day where we go to blighted areas to talk and teach the most vulnerable people in our society how to keep themselves clean during their menstrual periods. We don't just talk to them, we give them sanitary towels, we give them soaps, we give them sanitizers, and what have you. Also, we have our quarterly mega empowerment programs for indigent and vulnerable people, where empowerment tools are given to recipients as livelihood support, and over 7,000 recipients benefited from this initiative in the last 2 years. We've had workshops in collaboration with Spotlight Initiative, UN Women, and UNFPA on ways of curbing domestic violence with parents, market leaders, undergraduates from universities, security agents, and other stakeholders. I hope that in the nearest future, the ministry will be collaborating with SheCan Nigeria on probably some empowerment programs. Also, we have our Creativity and Innovation Day. It's always a day where we try to encourage our students in our 19 skills acquisition centers for them to be creative. Yes, it's one thing to learn how to sew. It's another thing to be creative with the way you sew. The difference between a tailor and a fashion designer is about creativity and innovation. We always have interactive meetings with women-focused non-governmental organizations and enlightenment programs on ways to end gender-based violence in Lagos State. We train women on new farming techniques for agricultural production by grassroots women, and parcels of land are always allocated to them after the training, free of charge. I thought you were going to clap for us. Did you hear what I said? I said we'll train them on the farm and we give them free parcels of land for them to farm. We also, after the COVID, we decided to go on digital marketing training for our female entrepreneurs. Because for us as a ministry, our focus is on the small and micro businesses. Most of them couldn't sustain their businesses after the pandemic because most of them couldn't go online to join the e-commerce platforms. So for us as a ministry, we decided to go out to train them, and also give them Androids to be able to do their own businesses online. The major reason for setting a goal is for what it makes of you to accomplish it. What it makes of you will always be the far greater value than what you get. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that sometimes something else is more important than one's fear. We are looking forward to reaching more to the vulnerable, such that all women within Lagos State become economically independent. We certainly aim at ensuring that every woman in Lagos is empowered so that indeed they can do more, become more, and achieve more. As a woman, don't settle for what life gives you. Make life better and build something. Finally, like I said earlier on, I became the Honourable Commissioner for Women Affairs out of my resilience, my determination, and my focus. Today, I'm the commissioner, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a pastor, I'm a leader, and I'm a politician. So if I can, you can do much more. Thank you very much.